searched and couldn't find them. Could not find another one. I took it down there. Archie Parker will witness this to you. You don't believe me. Archie Parker, he works in Enterprise at Walgreens now. I took it to Archie down here at the Op Walgreens. I was like, do y'all have one of these in here, Archie? Because I got this thing. I said, I was able to get this thing on my OTC. He scanned the thing. He said, it's not even showing anywhere in our system. I don't know how this happened. Not only did I take it there, I took it to Enterprise. And they could not find it nowhere in the system at all, this thing. And I was able to get a $149.99 item on that card for free. So I get the thing. Well, the Lord prompts me the other day. I've been doing those steams in my nostrils. Those steams, when I'm talking about those ones where, I got some lemon. You get you a lemon, get you an orange, and get you some cayenne pepper and some sea salt. Put it in some water. Put it on your stove and steam. Put the steam over your head. Put a towel over your head and breathe this in. So I've been doing that, and it does work because it helps to clean, out and all these type things. So I've been doing that. Well, the Lord prompted me the other day. Said, look down, and it's this little box I got. Said, look down in this box. I was like, what's up with look down in the box. Well, of course I obeyed. I went and looked down in the box where there was this thing, this breather, this thing I had. So I pulled it out and all. Well, the thing of it is I started using it. And when I tell you, amazing, it's amazing. It's you do it for 15 minutes and it just goes over your face just like how, a mask. And it's rechargeable batteries and all, and you just put it over your face and you use this purified water that you have to order, and they had 8 free ones in there, so I'm looking to order me some more. But I started doing that, and man, you talking about cleared up stuff, it's just like just fine. And so I realized, I said, see, God, that is a moment that I want to thank you that I didn't miss. That's a moment that I want to thank you that I did not miss. We are missing too many moments. I'm the voice of the one crying in the wilderness. I'm the voice now that is trying to say, listen, stop missing your moments. Stop missing things. Stop just taking life vicariously. Stop just going through life and just thinking it can't be me. It can't happen to me. No, it this and that. Stop doing that. Pay attention to things that are going on. If y'all do not know that we are in a critical place in life right now. We're in a place where there is so much that's going on right now, and you've got to take charge of your life because you only have one, and you've got to be the one to take charge concerning what goes on with your life. And so my cry is I'm hollering everywhere that I go, and everything that I do, I'm going to keep hollering to people. Pay attention. Pay close attention. Do not be missing the signs. Pay attention to stuff. Do not just think that it cannot happen. Don't think that everything is fine. I've noticed that everything in life that Delphine has ever just taken for granted, whenever something happened, I got hurt. Because I took it for granted and I did not pay any attention. Going through the motions of thinking that won't happen. That won't be. That ain't gonna ever happen. And not paying attention to things. Not paying attention. Pay attention to a lot of stuff. Pay attention to things. Within the last few days, I've had encounters with snakes. Yeah. Just saw one on the highway. In front of the car. Going across the road. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. It's stuff that, the Lord is sending warnings. He's sending warnings. We're so quick. I don't want to be the type of preacher that just only tells you about the house, the car, that type of stuff. I don't care nothing about none of that. Because the reality of it is I've gotten to a place in life where I care now about my soul being right. That's what I care about. I care about my peace of mind. I thank God for everything that He gives me, and I found out this right here. As long as I keep caring about that stuff, He makes sure I got all that other stuff. I got a roof over my head. I got a car to ride, pretty decent, all that type stuff. So I don't even have to worry about that. I just care about my soul and making sure that I'm in a place as to where I'm not missing what God is saying to me. That I'm paying attention to what is going on. I am paying close attention to what is going on. And so my cry is yes, I'm a believer. But the thing of it is, a believer in what? A believer in what? So many times we holler we're believers in Jesus, but the thing of it is we don't really live according to what he's saying. I'm a believer in what? Believer in what? Okay, so we say, well, I'm a believer in the fact that Jesus is the Son of God. Okay, believing in the fact that Jesus is the Son of God is not what it's going to take to do something in your personal life. When I say I'm a believer, I'm talking about I'm someone that puts in action the thing that I believe. I'm not just saying it, but I'm someone that's putting in action the thing that I believe. So if I say that I believe that the Lord never leaves nor forsakes, well, when a situation comes, what do I got to do? I got to believe he never leaves nor forsakes. If I say that I believe that Jesus is a healer, well, when a situation comes, what do I got to believe? That Jesus is a healer. So when I say I'm a believer, I'm talking about someone that takes heed. Someone that takes heed. Hebrews chapter 11, let me show you something. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6 here. Hebrews 11 and 6. It says this, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he, this is talking about the believer now, for he that cometh, there is an ETH at the end of the word come, which means cometh, it means it's continually. For that means that I'm going to have to continually be a believer. I just can't be a believer one time. I'm going to have to continually, for he that cometh to God must believe. What we got to believe? We got to believe that he is what? Whatever I need him to be. Got to believe that he is, and that he is, again, a rewarder. So he has benefits to them that diligently seek him. So there are the stages. I just told y'all, this is the way that I live. My life now is to be a believer in God, and then all those things are added to me just because of the fact that I'm a believer. I'm now rewarded. But the thing of it is when I say I'm a believer, that means that I take heed to what God says. I take heed. So if the Lord prompts me and says, Delphine, I want you to start doing better with your eating. Start taking better care of your body. If I'm a believer, what am I going to do? I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to put it in action. I can't be a believer if I don't put it in action. Believer, this is the definition of believer again. A person who believes that a specified thing is effective. So if I really believe that God is effective, when he tells me something, I'm going to do it. If I really believe that I can trust his word, if I really believe that when he comes to me with something, then I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to play around with it. I'm not just going to play around with it. God. I'm going to do it. Why? Because he knows tomorrow, right? He knows we're sitting in a place today that God already knew. We're sitting in a place today that God already knew. He already knew. He said, I declared the ending from the beginning. I know the plans that I have for you, he says. I know. It's already a course that's set for you. I already know this. And the thing of it is why we have to make sure that we take heed to things that God says is because God has a plan, but the enemy has a plot. God has a plan, but the enemy has a plot. His plot is to conspire to try to destroy. And so what God says is okay, listen, I'm going to need you to put this in place so that you don't get caught up in the plot. Stay with the plan. Stick with the plan. Stick with the plan. Stick with the plan. What is the plan? The plan is that you take heed to what I say to you. The plan is that you make sure that you are taken care of in all 5 areas of your life. That's the plan. The plan is that you make sure that you bring yourself subject in all 5 areas. There are 5 areas of your life. So the plan is that you keep yourself intact with me in all 5 areas, not 1 or 2 of them, but all 5 areas. You keep yourself intact because the enemy has a plot for all 5 of them. Yes, he does. I'm going to tell you, he got a plot for all 5 of them. 5 areas of life. Let's start with the spiritual. That's 1. What God got a plan. God's plan for us spiritually is that we be spiritually whole. That's God's plan for us. Is that we be spiritually whole, that we be connected to him, that we manifest the 9 fruits of the Spirit, which are in Galatians chapter 5. That's God's plan for us. His plan to be spiritually whole. But the enemy got a plot. What is his plot? To be spiritually destroyed. To not be connected to God spiritually. To live out our flesh. I told y'all God got a plan. That joker got a plot. And so God will come through with warnings. Warnings will be such things as this here. When you feel yourself becoming spiritually depleted, the Lord says you need to go in prayer. You need to go in prayer. The Lord will start prompting. You need to pray. You need to, you need to pray. You need to pray. The Lord, spiritually, this is what the Lord would say. You need to go in prayer. You need to go in prayer. Spiritually, this is what he would say. See, he will start saying there will be some kind of longing and some kind of desire to want to do something on a spiritual aspect, whether it is to listen to some message or something, or whether it is to get up and go to a revival or something. See, that is the Lord prompting in the spirit, because he got a plan. The enemy got a plot. Next area, another 5 areas of life. That was spiritual. Okay, now let's go with the mental. Let's go with the mental. And so the plan of God for the mental is, it comes out of what the scripture says in Romans, and it says this here. It says that we are to be transformed. It says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so God's plan is that the mind be renewed. But the plot of the enemy is that the mind be confused. You get it? The plot of the enemy is that the mind be confused, that the mind be discombobulated, that the mind finds itself in distress. The mind finds itself depressed. That's the plot of the enemy. The plan of God that the mind be renewed. Be renewed in the context of thinking vibrantly. Be renewed in the context of thinking peaceably. But the plot of the enemy is to be confused. To be distorted. I'm a believer. Emotionally. Third, this is one I'm giving you the 5 areas of life. God has a plan for them 5. The enemy got a plot for them. Emotionally. God has a plan for us emotionally. Our emotions is our feelings, that we be not caught up in our feelings, that we don't allow our feelings to be the navigator as to why we do things. If we ever do things based on our feelings, then our feelings are going to lead us astray, because sometimes our feelings feel like a nut and sometimes they don't. Sometimes we feel like doing it, sometimes we don't feel like doing it. That's even in doing what's right. I don't feel like. I don't want to do that. When it's based off emotions, relationships can't be started based off emotions. None of that. And so the plan of God is that our emotions are used for the right context that they are to be used for. They're not to be used as a navigation system for us. But the plot of the enemy is directly opposite. Is that we use them as a navigator. That's the plot of the enemy, to use the emotions as